In this video, we're going to take the quickest and simplest route through the forecasting module. This is called the production wizard. This is ideal if what you want to do is make different forecasts for different days of the week, for example, of one production, and base it on a past production. It doesn't have to be a production, it could be, for example, a season of concerts. The wizard takes you through step by step the process, with notes to remind you what to do. The first thing we do is choose the upcoming production or collection of performances for which we want to set forecasts. In this case, I'm going to filter for an upcoming production called Tribes. Then we just click Next. Step 2 is to choose the show or shows from the past that should form the comparators to base this forecast on. The module goes ahead and puts maturation in your filters for you to make sure that you only filter for completed performances. And it goes ahead and puts in production season for us. Or of course we can use any of the other filters from the RMA. In this case, I know that there was a production by the same company, also a dark comedy like Tribes, and starring one of the same actors. So I'm going to choose this. This was The Lieutenant of Inishmore. When we're happy with our filters, we just click Next again. And in step 3, we choose which type of forecast to set. You might see warning symbols at this point. This means that you, or someone else at your organisation, has already set trajectories of a particular type for some of the performances that you've filtered for. In this case, an income trajectory has been made. We're going to make a tickets forecast. We choose whether the forecast we're going to make is for tickets or income, and we always recommend making tickets first, and then whether that's for all sales, just subscriptions, or just single tickets. In this case, I'm going to make a tickets forecast for all sales. Again, click Next. Now, we might be finished. It might be that we want to set the same forecast curve for every single one of our upcoming performances of Tribes. In which case, job done. Click Apply and Show Trajectory. But it's more likely you're going to want to add some nuance. You're going to want different forecasts for different days of the week, or perhaps different performance types. If you were doing this for an opera, for example, it might be that your preview performances and your closing nights, if you've coded those up as performance types, should have different kinds of forecast. In this case, in this particular organisation, I know that day of week and time of day is what's important. So I'm going to choose Make Sub-Trajectories. In this final step, I can choose how to group together different days and times. In the table, I can see how many of each type of performance I've got in Tribes, and how many of each type of performance I had in The Lieutenant of Inishmore. In this organisation, thanks to the other analysis that I've done in the RMA, I know that Sunday matinees are particularly special. They sell well and they sell early. So I'm going to make one forecast for those. I also know that Friday and Saturday nights sell well, but they sell late. So I'm going to make a forecast for those. I also know that Monday matinees are different. Everything else I will group together in forecast A. Now we just click Make Trajectories. The RMA now creates all 4 of those trajectory types. It opens them all in one tabbed window. In each case, what it shows you is an opening and closing curve for all of those past performances from the comparator. In this case, we're looking at forecast A, So this is all of those weekday and Sunday evening performances of the Lieutenant of Inishmore. We have one coloured line for each of them. And then through the middle, the fat black line is what's going to become our target trajectory. If that's hard to see, you can also use this option, Hide Comparator Sales, to just check what that average line looks like. This is the average of all of those past performance curves. If we're happy that that is indeed the shape of curve that we want to save as our target, we just hit Finish. That is now saved for all of the weekday evening performances of tribes. It takes us straight to the next trajectory. This is our Sunday matinee trajectory. So again, we have a line for each of the past performances, and then the line through the middle for the average that will be saved. If at this point we notice that we seem to have an outlier performance, we might decide that we don't want to include that in our average. Perhaps it's bringing the average up too much. If we want to remove it, we can simply right-click and choose to remove that series from the chart. When we're happy that this is the shape that we want, click Finish again, and continue with each of your forecasts in turn. When you reach the last one, all of your forecasts have now been saved, and you're asked whether you'd like to make another kind of forecast for the same production. If not, you're all finished. In a matter of minutes, you've made 4 forecasts covering all of the upcoming production, in this case tribes, and you can now use them as you do any other forecast trajectory made in the RMA, including seeing how your sales are progressing against your trajectory curve, or editing the curve if you need to. And you can see editing in our other videos.